Okay, this is going to be a video for Algebra 1, graphing lines. Okay, I'm going to put the three types of equations that you're going to have for graphing lines. I'm going to start with y equals 2x plus 3. I'm going to start with 4x plus 2y equals 8. And I'm going to start with the line x equals 3. Okay, you got to get used to seeing these all mixed up in all kinds of different ways. And what you have to identify is how you graph the line. And I'm going to walk you through the process, some practice on how to do that. When the line is in y equals and you have an x, okay? Y equals an x, all right? And they're on, so y equals and an x on that side, okay? What we're going to do when we graph, all right? This is y equals mx plus b, okay? Where the m stands for the slope, and the b stands for the y-intercept. And we talked last time that means that's on that axis, okay? So in my problem here, I want to start with the y-intercept, okay? So in the y equals, you're going to start with the y-intercept, okay? So that's 0, 3, which would be right here. I put a point, okay? Now, after you do that, what you're going to do is you're going to use the slope. Okay, I'm going to move that over here so I make sure we can see it. Okay, so we start with the y-intercept, then we use the slope. Okay, that is rise or fall over how many you go to the right. Now, as you can see, you say, well, I have a fraction here. Well, I don't have a fraction here, but that's really 2 over 1. So what that means is, from this point, I'm rising 2, I'm going to the right 1, and I'm going to draw a line through that. Okay? All right, that is that line. Now, if you would like to check that in the calculator, okay, you go to Menu, you go to Graph, all right, you type in 2x plus 3, you hit Execute, and you draw. And as you notice, that's very similar to mine. A little feature that you can have, if you hit this button G-solve, all right, y-intercept, it will tell you, my y-intercept is 2, and eventually G-solve root, I can find my x-intercept of negative 1.5 as well. And that'll be important a little bit later, okay? Now, when you have x and y on the same side, what you do is you set 4x equal to 8 and 2y equal to 8. Divide by 4, I got x equals 2. Divide by 2, I get y equals 4. Now, for me, here's what that means. All right, this means x-intercept. So that is this axis right here. So that's 2, and I put a dot. That means y-intercept. That's what I'm finding there. 4, and I put a dot, and I draw a line. Okay? Now, I can't type that one into the calculator because it's not y equals. Okay? Now, if you notice, this is a different one. I've got x equals 3. Okay? And I want you to remember this acronym. VUX and HOI. Okay? All right, VUX stands for vertical, okay, undefined, slope, and x. All right, I'm going to write that on my next page. All right, just so you can have it. VUX stands for vertical, undefined, slope, and it's an x equals equation. Okay, then there's HOI. HOI stands for horizontal line, 0 slope, and it is a y equals equation, okay? Now, that's just for the special ones, okay, where you have x, only one variable, the number. So here's what that means. X-intercept of 3, okay? So I'm 1, 2, and 3, I put a point. Since it's the x equals, I put a vertical line through it. And I'm finished, okay? Let's go ahead and do let's do another set of 3. All right, I'm going to go, there's that. All right, you can have that for notes, okay? Let me go through some more ones. All right, let me move that down just so I know we can see it. All right, let's say I got y equals negative 5x plus 6. Let's say I've got 3x minus 2y equals 6. And let's say I have y equals negative 4, okay? So, when I'm graphing this one, okay, all right, I'm going to start at my y-intercept. So that means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my slope. That's negative 5 over 1. Because since it's negative, I'm going to fall. If it's positive, I rise. So from this point, I'm going to fall 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 over 1. Okay, because that's how many I go to the right. I can connect the dots. Okay? All right? Now, if I want to take a look at that, exit. All right, I'm going to go in there. I'm going to type negative 5x plus 6. Hit execute. All right, x is located right here. Draw. And doesn't that look like my graph? So I'm good. Okay? Now, for this one, okay, all right, I take 3x. I set it equal to 6. I take negative 2y. I set it equal to 6. I divide by 3. That gives me x equals 2. So that's my x-intercept. I divide by negative 2 here. That's going to be y equals negative 3. That's my y-intercept. All right? So x equals 2. Y equals negative 3. There's my line. Okay? All right. Y equals negative 4. So that means y-intercept of negative 4. It almost cuts your work down in half. Okay? Now I got to ask myself, that's a y equals special one because there's not another variable. So that's going to be a HOI. Well, that means I'm doing a horizontal line through that. Okay? And let me show you. You can actually graph that. All right? You can actually graph that in the calculator. Okay? All right? I can graph y equals negative 4. Okay? And I'm going to hit draw. And that shows my line. Somebody's going to ask, can I graph x equals? Let me go back to this one. Okay? Can I graph x equals? Yes, you can. If you go into this, all right, you've got to delete it. Delete, okay? And if I hit type, you have an x equals button. Select that. And I think we have, what do we have on here? X equals 3. Right? X equals 3. All right? And if I draw, it draws a vertical line for us. Now, the key thing is, when I do that, I got to go back, delete F1. I got to select my type, y equals. Okay? All right? And now I can graph the y equals once again. All right? So that's another one, another example. All right? Let's do a couple more. Let's say I've got y equals negative 2/3 x minus 4. Let's say I've got x minus y equals, let's say 5. And let's say x equals negative 6. Okay? This is in y equals. That's my y-intercept. So that's going to be negative 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I got a point. My slope. See, now you have a fraction, which is even nicer. Negative 2 over 3. So that means I'm going to go down 2 more. Always to the right. I'm going to go 3. I'm going to make my line. Okay? Let's see if I did that right. All right? So the way I graph that, I do negative 2 divided by 3. Notice the fraction. I type parentheses, negative divided by, I close that. Then I put the x outside, minus 4. And I'm going to draw. Yep. That looks just like my result there. Okay? This one, all right, this is 1x. 1x equals 5. Divide by 1, x equals 5. That's going to be a negative 1 for y. Divide by negative 1. Okay? So x-intercept of 5. Y-intercept of negative 5. Connect the dots. There's my line. Okay? This one, that's an x-intercept of negative 6. That's that's not a HOI, that's going to be a box. Okay, so that's a vertical line. Once again, I can check that one in the calculator. All right, exit. I'm going back. I'm going to delete. Make sure you delete everything. I'm going to do type x equals negative 6. I'm going to draw. There's my vertical line. Okay. All right. So x. I'm going to clear that out. Delete. And make sure my type is set to y equals. Okay. All right. That's another one. Okay. Let's do another set. Okay. Let's do another set. Let's say I've got y equals 4/3 x. All right. Minus 2. All right. Let's say I got negative 5x plus 2y equals 10. And and let's go with y equals 1, okay? Once again, on this, I'm going to start at -2 for my y-intercept. Okay, that's my y-intercept. This I'm going, this is up, and this is to the right. The reason I'm going up is it's positive, so up 4 from this point. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Right 3. Boom, there's my line. If I like to check that, all right, 4/3, parentheses 4 divided by 3, x minus 2, draw. And that looks like my line. This, I'm taking -5x, setting equal to 10, 2y setting equal to 10. That's x equals -2. That's y equals 5. Okay? So when I graph that, -2 for x, 5 for y. There's my line there. Okay? Here's a y-intercept of 1. Okay? That's going to be a Hoy problem. So it's horizontal. Okay? If I want to check to see if I did that right, that's, let me go back to here, exit. I'm going to delete. It's going to be 1. And I'm going to draw. So use that to check your results. Okay? Couple more, just to keep the practice going. If I got y equals, let's say x plus 3. Let's say I've got x plus y equals 2. And let's say x equals 3. Okay? All right. Once again, here's my y-intercept. Now people are going to say, well, is this going to be a vertical? Because I see an x. All right, no, because that's going to be 1 over 1. So up 1 to the right 1. Connect the dots, okay? To check, all right, to check, let me exit up here. I'm doing x plus 3, and I'm drawing, as you can see, matches my graph, okay? This one I'm doing 1x equals 2. 1y equals 2, I'm dividing by 1. That's going to keep the results the same. There's my answer for that. That's an x-intercept of 3. It's going to be one that's going to be vertical like that. Once again, if you need to check it, exit, delete. Yes, I'm going to delete that. I'm taking a type. Okay, I'm doing 3, and I'm drawing, okay? All right, one more type I'd like to do here with you guys, and then we'll be finished with graphing lines. All right, y equals 7 minus x. Let's do negative 3x minus 6y equals negative 12, and then let's say y equals negative 4. I think you guys are probably going to get those the fastest. Okay, now, where some people get confused with this is they look and they say, oh, that's my slope. Remember, slope is in front of x, okay? So my slope here is actually negative 1. My y-intercept here is 7. Okay, so what that means for me, negative 1 is my slope. So that's negative 1 over 1. So since it's negative, I'm going down 1, to the right 1, I'm drawing my graph. Once again, if you need to double check, don't be afraid to. You say, I don't know, 7 minus x. Draw. Whoops. Oh, whoops, I didn't select the type. Here, I need to go back and make that a y equals. All right, let me delete this. All right, type y equals, okay, 7 minus x, okay, and draw. And if you notice, isn't that what I have? All right, so it wasn't at 1. All right, so you got to be careful there. All right, this type, I'm doing negative 3x equals negative 12. Watch your negatives, because that's going to be x equals 4. Negative 6y equals negative 12, divided by negative 6, y equals 2. 1, 2, 3, 4 for x, 2 for y, connect the dots. Okay, this is a y-intercept of negative 4. Negative 4 this way. Okay, it's going to be a horizontal line because it's Hoy. Okay, Once again, to check it, exit, delete. Okay, that's y equals equation, -4, and I'm drawn. Okay? So if you just practice that over and over again, you'll be able to graph lines, and when we graph inequalities, it will make a lot of sense.